Alright, so today we get a special treat. As you know, we got the two new drones in from SwellPro, and this is the new splash drone. This is something I've been waiting for a long time. You guys know I've been dealing with this company for, what, almost 3 years now. But I've been part of their whole modification process from the original one when we used to get a box of parts in a box and have to build this thing from scratch, as some of you will remember from the videos. But this one is a new redesign. It's version 2 of the Splash Drone Auto system. And they've got new electronics, and they've got a couple of new upgrades that were recommended by me that are finally integrated. And I'm really looking forward to trying these out, because if they work, then we finally got a really good drone, and that's what I'm hoping for. Because everything about the Splash Drone was good, except it was always susceptible to magnetic issues and camera shake and all that kind of thing, and that's what we've been focused on getting the factory to fix. And I've been talking directly with Eric Hugh, the manufacturer, the owner of the company. And over the last few months, they took some of my ideas and said that, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to try this and that, and this is the result. So my first impressions, like, I've been through the box already, but just to go through a quick unboxing with you, we finally actually got full documentation for the first time I've ever seen from SwellPro, which is nice. I've been through it. It's almost readable English. It's much better than has been in past, so that's a good sign. Now this is a full package. I ordered lots of extras, accessories, things like that, just one of my ultimate packages that I sell on the Ambient Real Life website. But it came with extra landing gear. It's very rare I've ever needed extra landing gear, but of course when you don't have it, that's when you're going to need it. So I've got a couple sets of those came with it. Now, I noticed the first thing, for the first time ever, everything comes in its own individual pre-packaged boxes with labels on them, which is really nice, because this has always been a point of contention. They ship these boxes to people who have no idea what to do with a drone, and there's wires and parts and pieces everywhere, and everybody's calling me trying to figure out what everything is. That's why I always make the videos, just to show everybody. But with this one, everything's explained. I mean, here's the US charging, the US balancing charger cable. That's what I ordered for mine for the US version. We got the power adapter for the FPV monitor, and mounting bracket for the FPV monitor. Some of this stuff I've already gone through and installed. This is the bracket that's for the monitor that mounts onto the radio transmitter right here, and you can see that's the bracket right there. It just fits on with a few screws, and I've already mounted that and assembled it. So that's already done, but that would be in this box right here. We've also got the receiver ground station, and that's for the autonomous flight controls, waypoint missions, follow me, all that kind of thing. This is one of their new accessories, the search and rescue waterproof payload releaser, which is a nice option if you're going to use it for fishing or want to use it for search and rescue or dropping life jackets, preservers to anybody distressed in the water, anything like that. It's a replacement module that you can now just disconnect the camera gimbal from the bottom of the unit and put this on in its place. And you'll notice another one of the modifications that they've utilized that I was always after them for was a removable wiring harness that's all waterproof. It's got a waterproof gasket in it and everything. That's a great feature right there. So now, not only this, but the gimbal. Some of you that have the Splash Drone from previous models will remember the gimbal had a hardwired connection going in through like a silicone mount screw. And that meant that you had to go inside, disconnect all the wiring, unscrew it, take it out. It was a real hassle to change it or do anything with the gimbal whatsoever. And now they've changed all of that with this waterproof wire harness that's removable. So this is the down-firing camera that would go underneath the unit like that. And then of course your payload release. So when you hit a switch, this opens up and whatever's latched in there will just drop to whoever's down below that you want to drop something to. It's on a pivoting camera. It's a fixed mount, not a gimbal or anything. This is just purely for seeing what you want to do. This is particularly good even if you're going to use it for fishing or anything like that. You can take this and just keep it, down firing, take the drone out, look for schools of fish around the sides of the boat, even up to a quarter mile away or something. And when you see something, you just hit the switch on this thing and it drops your fishing line with your bait right into the school of fish. So we're going to be testing all of that in the near future as well. So that will be cool. So that's one new thing in the box. The drone itself, we're going to pull this out. Now the drone itself comes out in one piece, landing gear and gimbal camera already installed. I've got one of their Zero cameras installed here, which is the replica of the GoPro, so that's what we're going to be testing it with today. You'll notice first thing, this was another one of my requested design modifications because when they originally made their first waterproof gimbal, they used the exact same gimbal and motors and electronics from the previous versions that didn't have the housing. And we always had issues with camera shake. I could not get rid of it. I tried everything, but the motors weren't big enough, the wiring wasn't heavy enough. It just didn't have the power to stabilize all this additional weight, because you've got a lot of extra weight here. And now you'll notice they've put a double-sided bracket that supports the camera from both sides, and that's going to be a big improvement as well. So this is all designed to keep the camera nice and steady and smooth and perfectly balanced. As you can see, even on its own, it's balanced. So that's a great feature right there. Bigger motors, and we're going to see how that works today also. Okay, so the other modification, the biggest one I had recommended, was this lid right here. And I'm going to show you what's special about that. We take this lid off. I've been after them for a long time because I used to mount my GPS puck outside of the lid because that was the only place you could keep it away from magnetic interference from inside the drone. So I always asked them, can't you just move the GPS puck outside the drone? So I talked to them about it and said, if you just made an elevated lid, raise it up an inch and put the GPS inside the lid and put a metal shield that's grounded, that'll eliminate all magnetic interference from all these wires in here, because this is what everybody runs into, this wire here. When this wire is plugged in and the drone is running, this is a high amperage wire and it creates an electromagnetic field around the wire, and that's what always screwed up the compass, because the compass used to be sitting right in here beside the wire. So that was a major issue and pretty much a design flaw that needed to be corrected, and this is the first attempt they've made at actually correcting it. So they made a really nice elevated lid. It's all tapered in platform, like it's tapered so it matches the design, and hardwired in so it stays attached to the flight controller right inside. So that is really nice. Looking forward to trying that out. And we'll poke the wires back in there. Inside, everything is pretty much cleaned up. They've done a much better job detailing the wiring. All the electronics are mounted on the sides except for the flight controller, which is now on its own right on the center line of the drone. Battery is right there. There's even room if you want to put a little bit battery in, a little bit bigger battery in there than what's there now, but the 5200 milliamp fits perfectly, comes in easily, comes in and out easily, and will still yield, supposedly, I'm told, about 17-18 minutes of flight time, maybe a little bit less, just depending on the overall weight of the camera and everything that you're using at the time. If you're just using this one here, I believe you're going to get just around 20 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, because this is obviously much less weight. But all good modifications so far. And the other thing that was always a problem was the range of the video transmission, always running short. So they've done a couple of things to correct that. On the bottom, you'll notice I had asked them as originally to put the antennas outside of the shell itself, because inside the shell they're right up against the ESCs in the arms. There's all kinds of magnetic shielding there, and just metal that's going to interfere with it. So now they've got these two rubber tabs right here that both extend through the hull. Well, the chassis of the drone, and one of them is the antenna for the radio itself, and the other is the antenna for the video transmission to the monitor. And the monitor is a nicely new modification as well. We have that here. They've included now a brand new monitor. It's much slimmer than previous designs, so much less space to take up. It has an integrated sun shield on it right there, and the battery system is now an actual integrated battery instead of just plugging in a LiPo. So that's really nice as well. Uses the same charger as before. They've actually gotten better antennas now. So we have longer range antennas. There's probably still better aftermarket that we can get, but hey, for this being a stock model, these are nice upgrades. And aside from that, I've already tested this monitor and put it on, and this is the first monitor they've actually sent. Well, first of all, it's branded SwellPro, so this is their own model. It even has their splash screens comes on now. But this model is, this monitor is viewable in direct sunlight, which is a huge improvement over the last one. The last one was so washed out, but this one's a high definition display, and you can actually see it in sunlight. So even out standing on the boat in midday sun this afternoon, I was looking at it and I could see the image perfectly. That's going to be a huge improvement right there. That's a problem we have with all the drones, is not being able to see the displays in the sun. Even our DJI stuff, I mean, we're using phones with them, and the phones, you can't see them in the sun. You have to stand in shade somewhere just to be able to see what you're doing. So other than that, that's the major improvements right there. Everything else is the same. Now I've already taken and done the basic calibrations on this one, so we're just going to take it and just pop it up. I just want to see how it hovers compared to the other ones, because the other ones always tended to wander around a lot. So the only thing the factory recommends after you receive it in shipping is to put it through an accelerometer calibration, which just means sitting it on something stable. So not on a table like this that can move if somebody touches it or anything, but just on, you know, maybe the road like that, or a concrete platform, something that's level and solid. Sit it on there and you'll have the directions. It's very easy to do. It only takes 15 seconds to do the accelerometer calibration, and then you put it into the calibration for the compass mode, and that'll take you about 1.5 to 2 minutes. And that's all going to be explained either in another video or just with the manuals, because that's all very detailed and easy to understand now. So everything's big improvements, but this one is ready to go, so we're just going to put the props on it, plug in the battery, and give it a try. Okay, so we're already set up. And we've got our monitor on. I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually very viewable, which is really nice. So it's already on, set to preview. They have a live switch now so that I can actually start record and stop record from here, or switch it over and take a photo, which is nice. So that's all great features. And what else? Let's see. All we're going to do is just take it up and just do a little hover with it right now. Just want to see if it's stable, how well it does. Put it in the air and go from there. So I'm going to start record. Okay, it's acknowledged it's recording. And what else? Okay, all switches are up except record. It's on GPS mode. We're locked in. Let's see. GPS. Okay, we're locked onto 15 GPS. Throttle's at 50%, voltage is at 16.6. All right, let's start it up. Oops. Okay, engine's running. Set the camera. And I'm just going to take it off, bring it up to about 6 feet, and then just let it sit there and see how it does. Okay, that's hands off. That's completely on its own, and we've got a little crosswind here coming off the top of the trees, so it's you're gonna see it correcting for that. So far that looks really good. That's completely hands off. You can see against the background, it's not shifting at all. It's staying in position perfectly. Altitude control seems to be a lot better as well. I'm going to take it up a few more feet. And I'm just moving it around a little bit, see how it responds. So far that looks really good. This is a lot more stable than it ever used to be. Picture quality looks really good on the display. No vibration or judder. Okay, we'll do a little testing of the braking. I'm going to take it side to side a little bit. Take it up a few feet. So go to right and let go. Okay, it stops on its own. You can get me in there too. We're going to go to left. Let go. Stops on its own. Right. Stops on its own. Okay. Camera gimbal's looking to work well. Go forward. And back to us. So far that's looking really good. it up a little bit, turn it around, get a picture of us. Yeah, there's us. You can see us there now. Touch the camera, the roll, or sorry, the tilt. I'm gonna take it up a few more feet. Looks good. And you can see it's just sitting there. It's perfectly stable. I'm really happy surprised. That is really, really stable. It's not even flinching at all. Yeah, it's working really well. You can see it reacting to a little bit of wind, but nothing major at all. Alright, so far not a bad first test. We'll have a look at the footage, see what that looks like. Oh, it's still recording. Shut that off. We'll have a look at the footage and let you know from there.